Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 459 for August 4th, 2024. My name is Nathan Reetin Spruth, and joining me this week, we have Andrew Rowe McFain.
Oh, we're doing it this week. I can't believe it.
Yay! And we have Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
It's me. I'm here to do a podcast.
You made it. You made it. And yeah, we're here this week. I will not be here in the next subsequent weeks. So the 11th and the 18th, I will not be here. I will be in a different country. I don't know if Connor and Aroa are going to have the Connor and Aroa cast again. That is up to them. They can do what they want. And let's ask where we can find you guys. One of you.
Row website. Go to Aroa.website.
Perfect.
It's a website with
As
links on it.
As all of our links on there. Hey, Connor, any of those links you want to point out?
Why, yes, of course, Nathan, there is. While you're at aroa.website, which is, basically Linktree, but it's got the funny music too. I want you to go check out Clinton's Core Classics. That is a Pathfinder First Edition actual play podcast featuring Rise of the Rune Lords. And if fantasy podcasts aren't your thing, then I also want you to check out Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6th World Edition actual play podcast. I work hard on it, and I think you'll like it.
Yeah, and we're going to be playing that tonight. And then we
I hope
so. Then we have to take some time off.
The last month or so we've tried to play. Every time it's like, something came up in the last 10 minutes. I was like, gosh, darn it.
Yep. That happens a lot, especially when you have people. Well, we're all spread out across the United States. And then there's also, people have kids and stuff.
People have kids. People work the morning shift. I have to be at work by 6 a.m. So it's, I get it.
Yeah, it's awful. So just getting people together. I that's part of the reason why I never played Dungeons and Dragons or anything in high school. Just getting a group together every week is very difficult.
High school, it was easy. Being an adult, it's definitely like everything from funerals to work to, hey, my wife needs my help or something. It's like getting a group of adults together consistently is pretty damn hard, actually.
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit easier now that we're adults because there's a lot more online resources than when I was in high school.
For sure.
So, and I lived in a very small town of under 10,000 people. So finding a few people who actually wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, pretty difficult. Anyway, Connor, since we're already talking, what games have you played this week?
I actually want to do a little bit of a spiel about the games I've been talking about. First one I want to talk about is Mega Man Battle Network. They remade that collection for Steam. I want to say like the beginning of, maybe even the end of last year. And that has been my go-to, I'm going to play video games for 15 minutes before bed game. And I finally finished the first 3, but actually 4 games. And I just want to talk a minute for the third one. If you haven't played these games, I'm going to spoil the surprise a little bit. They're really built around the idea of backtracing. And, they're Game Boy Advance games. They only have so much memory. You gotta get the hours out of these things somehow. And first time, it's 2 editions for the third game. First game I beat it in about 32 hours, which is, from what I understand, about average, maybe a little higher than that. And then for the second game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play along with a speed run and just see the dramatic difference. And it turns out, if you really know what you're doing, you could beat this game in about 3 hours.
Nice. And how fast did you beat it?
It was about 3.5 hours following around with the world record. So it's like, a lot of that is mitigating random encounters, which once you sit and have somebody who really knows how to do it explain how they do it, it's really easy to follow along with. And for a game that you would think, it's Mega Man, you think you're supposed to be fighting stuff, getting stronger off that. But nope, because you can just upgrade your character in the menu of the game basically anytime you want as soon as you unlock the parts for it. So the key to playing this game is by playing the least amount of it possible.
Cool. Are you going to do that with all the Battle Network games?
I don't know if I own the Legacy Collection Volume 2, which is 4 through 6, and I don't think I actually want to play those. So when I was a kid, I only played through the first 3. These were the only ones I was really interested in playing through again. And from what I hear, this series takes a pretty dramatic tone. What am I trying to say here? The games suck after 4.
Nosedive.
So I think maybe I'll just take a pass on that.
Cool.
And then I will, speaking of pass, I will pass on to the next game I want to talk about. Do y'all remember back in 2015 when Hideo Kojima made Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain?
Yes. And it runs very
Uh,
well on the Steam Deck, from what I
it runs
understand.
amazing on the Steam Deck. So much so that I have been able to 100% this game finally.
Oh,
This is
good.
the game that I keep on going back to because I'll play something else and I'll be like, man, I really wish I was playing Metal Gear Solid 5 instead right now. And I've done it. There's nothing left for me to do. I unlocked Raiden. I could run around real fast now. Um, I don't know what I'm gonna play now. I'm thinking it's been long enough where I can finally go back to a first-person shooter, but nothing's jumping out at me.
Play Skyrim again.
You joke, but it's never a bad time to go back to Skyrim. They re-released it for like the 8th time, so I still have the A version of this game. I don't have all the achievements in.
Interesting.
I
Oh, you could play the VR Skyrim.
I own that. And I have been looking for an excuse to get my Quest working with my computer. As I understand it, Quest 3 with a wired like physical connection should just be able to run Steam pretty well. But it doesn't work well for me and I don't know why. I just haven't taken the time to explore.
Did you buy the Meta specific cable?
I sure did. It's super
Oh,
long
okay.
and coiled up right now.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay. Because
I'm sure I just need to troubleshoot it more and I don't know what I'm doing yet.
I've heard that if you don't use that specific cable, it can be pretty bad.
Um yeah, I tried it and I would say that it was not quite usable.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
uh,
hopefully
stay
you'll be able
tuned
to
as
get
I
that
look for
working.
a new, maybe first-person shooter to play. I was playing Counter-Strike for a little bit, Counter-Strike 2, and I know that's not what I want to sink time into. This is definitely a game made for pros, but it
Yeah.
sure is still fun, Counter-Strike.
I'm so bad at that game. I've never I've only spent like a couple hours playing Counter-Strike in my life. So every time I'm like, I'm gonna join a map, and then I just immediately die, and I'm like, this is disheartening.
The best version of Counter-Strike is easily Pavlov, which is VR Counter-Strike. And much like with Skyrim, if I can't get my headset working, I don't really want to go back and play it. If
Yeah.
I can get my Quest working with my computer like flawlessly, I will definitely go back to Pavlov.
I'm sure you'll
I have
find
other games I
something.
could talk about too. I think I'll just move on for the sake of sharing the spotlight.
Okay, we will move on to Aroa, games you played this week, besides fixing your air conditioner.
I fixed my air conditioner, I hope. Um, you know, it, I love owning a home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I mostly have been playing Zenless Zone Zero still. I got through what story content exists. Um, and so now I'm in that wonderful live service segment of time where I've done everything that actually matters and now only have uh menial side bullshit and dailies to complete. Um, but it's still a really fucking good game, and there's a decent enough amount of side content left for me to do, and that's on top of me doing all of the major side missions anyway throughout the game. That like I still have plenty to accomplish, and I've still got to level up a bunch more to increase my individual character level caps and all that grindy bullshit. So yeah, it's really good game.
I'm
And
happy
let
you're
me
enjoying it.
yeah, it's amazing how far we've come in terms of mobile games. We're
Yeah, I
now this
remember the mobile games used to be very bad. Now they're just slightly bad.
yeah, it's like I've said it before, like this could just be a boxed game. Like it is on PS5 and obviously like I'm playing a native PC game, but like it's also a mobile game. And
Yeah,
it's like I get why Microsoft was like, I don't. We don't really see a point in making a portable device because you just have a phone. We have phones,
yeah. They
and
said that
and
they said that years ago with it's like the iPhone 4 or 5, like way
I, th-
back when.
I think it was
And
right around when the Vita was coming about.
yeah, and Jobs was like, I think Jobs was still alive, and
Yeah,
he said, yeah, we don't really need a gaming device because the iPhone's a good gaming device. And at the time, that was complete bullshit.
Oh yeah.
It's better, and the only problem I have with mobile gaming is just like microtransactions and stuff. Like they
Yeah,
feel worse than even on PC.
Yeah.
they generally are. Um, like there is another game that I play that doesn't deserve to be named because it is the definition of pay to win.
Interesting.
Like you can play it for free and just kind of enjoy doing something that fills your time, but there are PvP sort of things that go on, and you could just pay $50 and win. Like,
That's how you
but
should play
what
games.
it's like I see people on the leaderboards who there is no fucking way that they have as high of a score as they do in certain competitions unless they are paying just exorbitant sums of money. Like
Yeah.
there are things that you unlock in the game. There are like these VIP levels that you can only get to by spending money. And I remember for the first like few months of the game, there were people figuring out how much you would have to spend to get certain VIP levels. And the next to highest level, I believe, was like $3,000.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
it's
that's bad.
like
That's
at,
what? That's
at
a
that
house
fucking
payment, right?
point, that's like that's two house payments for I think a majority of people, and that's like that's almost like 6 months worth of house payments for me. Like,
That's literally 8 months of house payments for me.
I do
Something
have a
like that.
genuine question, which is, at what point does it stop being a game and start become I know it's not gambling because it's just pay to win, I guess, but like, at what point is your game just a slot machine?
uh,
And I feel like at that point we've reached it, haven't we?
yeah, I
Yeah.
like I don't. It's so weird that there are people who either are so financially irresponsible or who have so much just throwaway money that they're willing to just vomit their wallets into the pockets of these what are essentially just these no-name Chinese developers that just know how to manipulate people. I don't get it.
So what we're saying is tax the rich.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, I had a nice uh discussion with somebody on a social media platform, and the I said anybody making over $400,000 a year is rich, right? Like let's be fair, they're fucking loaded. And the person's like,
Yeah.
no, when you make this much money, you have to live in an area that is more expensive. You have like, and then there's like medical stuff for all like your kids and the rest of your family and blah blah blah.
But
And
you
I
have
was like,
kids.
yeah, I was like, well, I'm sorry that you have have made poor financial decisions. And their reply was like, what financial decisions I make were poor? I'm like, you had kids.
Yeah.
It is objectively a bad financial decision to have children because it costs so much money. Um, and it's also a poor financial decision to spend $3,000 in a gotcha game. Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Like I'll admit, I so also that's not even a gotcha game. It's not
oh,
even a gotcha game.
oh,
It's
good.
just spend money and you win.
Oh,
Like that's
good.
it. Uh I did spend money on a gotcha game. That
Of
Zenless
course.
Zone Zero game is a gotcha game.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
from the it's from the Genshin Impact people, like, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Uh but I felt like it was like worth it in a way because I spent I think like $30 total. Because I got the battle pass and there's like this separate monthly thing that you can pay for. Um and I was like, fuck it. Like I've gotten I have I don't even know how many dozens of hours in this game at this point, and I've been playing it for free this whole time. I am willing to put money into it. I'm not going to buy the 120 in-game currency bundle thing. Like I'm not spending $100 on a video game. Like
Yeah.
no, but like that is a lot more worth it to me. Uh,
Well, you can do what you want with your own money. We'll just judge you from the sidelines.
that's fine.
Yeah.
See. I took that. What I did was I took the savings from not buying Total War Warhammer 2,
Ah, I see. You're
and
justifying it.
instead spent it on a gotcha game, and then pirated Total War Warhammer 2, which is the only other game that I have to mention. Um, which it's like every other strategy game, but specifically real-time strategy game where, man, I just love the fucking concept of it, but goddamn am I bad at strategy.
I'm so I
Uh,
war like the Total War games are games that I look at and I'm like, I should love this game. And then I try to play it and I'm like, man, I am terrible at this game.
yeah, like I adore the fantasy of it, but actually trying to accomplish anything is such a fucking struggle. And I
Yeah.
feel like an idiot the whole
It's
time because like I watch dudes on YouTube who play who play Total War or Crusader Kings or Hearts of Iron 4, all that kind of shit. Like they play these grand fucking strategy things, and they seem to effortlessly go through and just goof around and have a great time. And then I'm coming in here and I feel like I feel like a fucking cartoon character walking into the same two rakes over and over again.
yeah.
Like I
Um
I
it reminds me of the first time I launched Eve Online. When
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna learn how to play Eve Online, and they're like, there's a 6-hour tutorial, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it does definitely feel like that most of the time where I'm like whenever I tried to play Eve Online because I was like, everything about this seems really fucking cool. What is going on?
Yeah,
I'm so scared. Like, uh, and that, but it is really cool.
yeah,
I
both
I
of them.
I love what I'm seeing. It's just that if I wasn't playing on easy, I would have already lost the campaign that I'm trying to play.
Yeah, it happens. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna talk about the games I played, which were not a lot. I just played a little bit of Hades and a little bit of Ayuden Chronicle. And that's it, because I had a pretty rough week. Um, I
You were like
last
sick or something, weren't you?
Yeah, like I think I ate some bad pork, and on
Oh no, it wasn't boar's head pork, was it?
I don't remember, but like I bought the pork and I put it in my fridge, and then I forgot about it for a couple days, and then I cooked it, and the next day, I woke up and I was feeling really tired, which I always do at like 7 a.m. right, because I'm not a morning person, and so I was like, I'll snap out of it, and so I worked my hour of work before people come in. uh, and I work from home, and so like I was like, man, I told my boss, I'm like, I can't come in today. I'm not feeling good. Because I normally go in the office on Tuesdays, and he's like, no, that's fine, don't worry about it. And he thought I meant I was working from home, and what I really meant was I'm gonna go lay down and sleep all day and cuddle my cat. And she was totally cool with that. Like we did not leave my bed except for having to go to the bathroom. Uh, Pretty much every hour or less, I was up and going to the bathroom, and I lost 4 pounds on Tuesday. So
Um,
that's how bad it was.
so did you see the shit about Boar's Head brand meat products?
I think I have seen that. I don't think it was Boar's Head, but
Okay.
yeah, I think it was like Safeway brand or something, but I have no idea.
I'm
Um,
just like
it could have been,
it could have
but
been listeria. Like Jesus.
I don't think it was that. I probably would still be very sick.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
you'd probably be pretty bad.
Yeah, so I lost 4 pounds. on Tuesday, but I checked myself right before we came to do the podcast, and I gained that weight back. But yeah, I was like, oh man, if I keep losing weight, this isn't gonna be good. Like I'm down to 135 right now, so that's a pretty good weight, but I don't want to go any lower than that really. And 130 is what I weighed in high school, so I was down to my weight in high school,
Jesus.
just because of having to go to the bathroom so much. So I didn't play any games on Tuesday, and then I just wasn't feeling games. I was just feeling really tired after that. And then on Friday, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play games with friends, and then I drove all day because I was working, and they made me drive around Oregon. And I did the math last night because I had to put in my expense report. And last month I did 1,100 miles of driving for work.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it's also $750 in driving expenses. So that's how much they paid me to drive around Oregon. And because the I bought a Hyundai, or I'm leasing a Hyundai, I get 2 years of Electrify America charging for free. So it cost me $0 to drive around Oregon.
Did not realize you were leasing.
Yeah, I told you. I told you at one point.
I forgot.
It's because I wanted the car, but I didn't want to make a commitment to keep the car if the Aptera comes out. If the Aptera comes out next year.
Oh, and like, I think if leasing makes sense for anything, it would be an electric car.
It does because
So.
of the battery degradation.
Yeah.
It's much better to have an electric car for that, just because like the battery degrades, and you can just be like, oh, I want to get a new car after the lease ends. Though, yeah, I think I'll be fine. It's a good car. I really like it. Anyway,
Yeah, I may need to ask you about that after the podcast, because
yeah, we can talk about it. Of course. Yeah, we're
assuming you don't have
speaking
to
of.
shit again.
I might have to, but I could go to the bathroom and then like come back and we can talk more.
Sure.
We could do the podcast from the bathroom. I'm just, cut out the middleman.
No, this is not There Be Geeks. This is There Be
Shitcast?
Shitcast.
We've done it before, and I don't like it. We're going to move on and talk about some news stories. Not a ton of stuff has happened in the last couple of weeks, but one thing that has happened is it looks like Humble Games is pretty much screwed. They're doing a restructuring at Humble Games.
Yeah, that's a fucking... That's an understatement.
It's
a way of putting it.
Yeah, it's like when you hear somebody say like, "Oh, we're gonna reform this." Yeah, we're basically we're firing everyone and making it worse. Is what they're doing.
We're restructuring in the sense that there was a structure here, and now we've demolished the structure. Everybody get out.
Yeah, they have laid off all 36 of the staff members, according to some former employees posting on social media. This is and by the way, another thing came out. So this is IGN owns Humble Games, and they have for a while now. And they have laid off all their staff, but they also isn't Game Informer owned by IGN?
No, Game Informer is owned by GameStop.
Okay. I think it's just because I see so many IGN articles in Game Informer that my brain was like, oh, they're owned. No.
See, and I actually had it backwards the other way, where I thought that Humble was owned by GameStop this whole time.
Oh, yeah. GameStop also owns ThinkGeek, I think. Anyway, PR rep for Humble Games confirmed to Engadget, which is the site we're using for this news story, that the company would not be shutting its doors as a result of today's restructuring. He added that both ongoing and upcoming projects would continue to be supported and published by the studio. But then why did you lay off everyone? The layoffs at Humble are the latest to sweep across the game industry. Yeah, there were we've covered a lot of those, but there's a lot of stuff happening. Intel just laid off 15,000 people too.
Yeah, was fucking nuts.
Yeah, I texted my friend and I was like, "Are you okay, man?" And he's like, "I think I'm good. I haven't been laid off yet." But he's worried that what's going to happen. But he said that they were last month to they offered employees to basically resign
Willingly
and
quit.
willingly quit and then get like a bonus for it. So had
Yeah.
he have done that, he would have got $40,000 as a severance, which
Yeah,
sounds like a lot
that's
of
pretty
money,
good
but
bonus.
he's making
That
quite
that
a bit of
also is
money on
the
it.
yeah that also means you don't work at Intel anymore.
Yeah, that means
Yeah.
that means you don't have a job. So like it would be very tempting for me to say, "Oh, I'm going to take $40,000," but then I'd have to find a new job, and that could take a while, especially with the industry the way it is. It says here, quote, "The games industry is very volatile. It has been inundated by people who only want exponential growth at the expense of making great games with great teams." This was from
Yeah.
Emily Kiefer, a former lead quality assurance analyst with Humble Games. So yeah, it's bad. The indie public, but what's the restructuring is happening? Are they just letting people go and saying, "Oh no, we're still open"?
So the fact that Humble PR is saying that the games that are already in the pipeline are still coming out makes me think that they're probably just going to have some people who are part of Humble Bundle as a whole kind of do like pull double duty to get these contracts played out, and then they'll finish shuttering everything after that, because
Yeah.
this does not affect Humble Bundle. This is only Humble Games, the publishing company,
Ah, I see.
uh, who have published like a number of really successful games. I forgot that like Slay the Spire was published by them.
And that was a really good
Uh,
game. Yeah.
yeah, that one was big. A Hat in Time was pretty big. Forager wasn't like a huge breakout thing, but it's enough to where I feel like a lot of people knew about it. Like they had a decent repertoire, and then it's just wild that I guess 36 people cost them enough money to where they were like, all right, just cut them.
Yeah, that's
But
not even that many people.
it's really not. But I I think I posted it. Sometimes I write things out on social media and then I don't actually post them, but I think I put it on Blue Sky that like the the Intel thing, and really all of the layoffs that have been going through the tech industry, but I named the Intel thing because that was just what made me think of it. It, it. It's such a sign that like this is not a sustainable economic system.
Yeah,
Like,
from what I understand, talking to some people I know, is that uh, Intel has they laid off a bunch of people because, well, I mean, obviously they're not making any money right now, but they also just had way too many people working there. They
well,
just
but
hired too many
also,
people.
so there was that aspect, but from the article that I read, it seems that the most likely motivation for laying off just so many people all at once was that their earnings their earnings are down, but their overall profitability wouldn't have been so bad if not for the $7 billion that they invested in new fabrication technologies.
Yeah.
And it's like, I I don't remember this because I wasn't alive, but it just seems to me that capitalism used to be about you invest the money that you bring in, and you invest that into the company to make your products better so that you are a better company overall. And
Theoretically, yeah. But that's not what
modern
happens.
capitalism is not that at all. Hasn't been for a very long while, at least not while I've been alive.
Oh no.
Uh, it's very much in line with all of the people who are like, "Ah, they don't make them like they used to. You used to be able to buy a Craftsman, and that some bitch would last you 50 years." And like, yeah, because now 90% of power tools are all made in the same Chinese factory, and they just slap different labels on them. Like, the the idea that Intel is going out of their way to make this like some kind of UV fab shit. I don't know what it is, but they spent almost $10 billion on it, and they're like, well, we gotta make at least $15 billion, or else we don't make the investors happy. And if the investors aren't happy, then I don't know, the CEO doesn't get paid as much or something.
Yeah, he doesn't get
So
his bonus.
we gotta ruin the lives of 15,000 people, I guess. Fuck them.
Yep.
Like,
I worked at the first IT job I had. We had profit sharing, so that's how we got our bonuses every year. And it was okay. It was fine. I get like a $1,500 bonus, which was fine. And it was amazing how right before the deadline for that bonus, the big boss would go and buy a brand new machine for like $500,000 out in the shop. And that would affect our bonus, which I didn't like. That was part of that fund of profitability. They would be like, "Oh yeah, we have like $2 million in bonus. We gave away like $2 million in bonuses to everyone this year, or $1 million in bonuses." And I'm like, "Yeah, but we could have got like 25% more or 50% more if you wouldn't have bought that giant machine like in the last week of our profitability quarter or whatever it was." So,
and like
you guys
the
suck.
thing about bonuses too is that like they do bonuses like that so that they don't have to guarantee it, so
Yep.
that they can do stuff like that to make up some reason why, well, stuff's been hard around here. We had to spend $400,000 on this new linoleum manufacturing box.
Well, yeah,
Like,
and that was another job I had. Like I got hired on for a certain amount of money, and then after my year or 6 month or whatever review, I forget if it was 6 months or a year. I think it was a year, but I came in and I was like, okay, sweet, I'm getting a raise. It's gonna be awesome. And they're like, actually, we're gonna put you on the bonus pay structure, which will potentially give you more money than if we gave you a raise. And I was just like, you should give me a fucking raise. I don't care
it's
about
like
this
a
bonus thing. And then, so that was in 2019. When I got the put on the bonus pay structure, and then my coworker, one of my really good friends, they were also put on that bonus pay structure, and I was fired from that job in 2020, but my friend was not, and so my friend was like, "Okay, I'm gonna work my ass off and guarantee that I get this bonus." And so they were working like 60, 65 hours a week, running all around North Carolina, like making sure everything was good. And then they came out and they're like, we're not doing bonuses this year. And they were not happy because
yeah.
we were also salary. So that 65 hours a week they were working, they were not getting paid for.
It's like having an HSA for your income,
Yep.
where it's like, well, you don't get as much money throughout the year, but you know, you might get paid a lot more at the end of the year. Just don't fuck up.
Yeah,
Just don't let anything fuck up.
that first IT job too, before we move on to the next story, the first IT job I worked, they would put people on salary like that as well. But before I got there, and they had changed it, I think because they legally had to, if you were on salary, they required you to work 50 hours a week. Yep. So, Connor, you want to weigh in here on anything?
It just sucks that they can gamble with people's livelihoods like this, and for really the only reason is because if bar don't go up in green direction, then investors angry. Whoa, we can't do that. It's like
Yep.
fuck,
Yep.
man. It's hard to be like whatever. Like 37 people is not a lot of people, but like 37 salaries, that's gonna add up pretty significantly. And
Yep.
it
It
gets to the
is.
point that you were making earlier. It's like there's really nothing else we could be spending to cut these down. And I get it. We've been talking about this for like I don't know since the pandemic. Growth in IT and tech is you said the words unsustainable earlier, but I'm gonna say it's growing exponentially when it doesn't need to. Like it needs to be chopped at the bit a little bit because we're not growing with the success of what we're showing, if that makes sense. Like, we're investing so much in either resources or people, but are we really developing to that point?
No, my
No.
like how every, I don't know, every 5 or 6 years it seems like there's some quote unquote revolutionary technology. It's going to change everything. Going to make the whole tech industry fall in on itself because of how much it's going to change everything. We had big data and data science and all that shit, and then like NFTs and blockchain and cryptocurrency came around, and right now it's AI tech,
hmm
and everybody's got to invest as much money into AI tech as they possibly can now. And like, well, we got to see returns from all the AI money that we're spending. We bought so many graphics cards, and it's costing us so much electricity, and and they have nothing to show for it because the tech is useless for almost everything that people think that it's actually useful for. And so then to make up for that, they got to fire a bunch of people. And like in this specific case, it's a matter of, yeah, 36 isn't a lot, but it's because of the scale of the company, and like it is a lot for them. That's why this is enough. But the logic is always the same. It's that it's a lot easier and faster to just knock some people out and recoup the money that you were going to spend on them, rather than look like you're not doing enough, from the investor's point of view, in terms of following the trends of what every other big company is doing.
So we are going to move on, I swear. But I just wanted to lay out one more thing that happened. This was over a decade ago. I assume you guys remember when Mitt Romney was running for president.
Sure.
Vaguely.
Um, I know none of us were paying attention to politics then. But one thing that happened that was
Well,
really
Nathan, you're
big.
30 years older than us.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay. Still don't have that many gray hairs though. I'm doing good. Um, but what happened is Mitt Romney was a hatchet guy. So he, during his presidential campaign, was asked to come in and help one of the companies, I forget which company, and say, like, okay, we need to make a profit. And he's like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to lay everyone off and then hire them back on as contractors so we don't have to pay their healthcare benefits. This was while he was running for president. And that's just the way the industry and like corporations work. Is they don't think about, like, they think about you as a number. And so they think about, oh, these 36 people, they're not bringing any money, fuck them.
I'm just saying we could eat these people and the world would be a much better place on the whole.
Yeah, it's true. You just have to like season them right. But what we are going to do is we're going to move on to another giant corporation and talk about them, and that is Epic Games. And they released in their this little game they have called Fortnite. They released a Cybertruck in it, which I guess you get a normal truck and then you transform it into a Cybertruck, which seems to me to be a worse idea.
Oh, yeah, that sure is what happens, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's got like boosters in the back. Okay,
yep.
sure.
And
It also has a back glass, which is not accurate.
right, that is not accurate to the Cybertruck because the Cybertruck has just that stupid,
It has a camera in the back to look out the back of the vehicle.
which is fine. I understand. Like, I actually am okay with like obviously having a piece of glass in the back so you can see, but like I think that having a camera as the backup
As the
mirror
rear view mirror?
might be okay. But anyway, it could work is what I'm saying. But anyway, so they have it in the game, and they have recreated it's a realistic Cybertruck because it gets stuck where other vehicles in the game would not.
It
And I
also
just thought it was
appears
funny.
to cause your character to have a seizure
I'm
if
looking.
you try to fire afterwards.
Yeah, I'm watching that video as well. Yeah, it looks like he's just like glitching super badly. If you try to, so this is YouTube creator Tabor Hill, Tabor or Tabor, Tabor Hill. Test out the glitch when he morphed a truck into the Cybertruck and drove it around for a few seconds. Instead of gently gliding forward into an opponent's soft face with the Nitro Fists, the Gelganite gauntlets cause this character to go into a loud, repetitive twitch. I can't hear the twitch because I don't have the sound playing, obviously. Of course, the glitch wouldn't be deliciously ironic if the Tesla's real-world Cybertruck didn't have more glitches than Max Headroom monologue. Right now, Tesla's truck is under the latest recall because of issues with a windshield wiper that could reduce the driver's visibility, which is the opposite of what a windshield wiper should do. That's on top of the infamous stuck accelerator pedal recall. What that was they used a glue, and the glue would come off. And so what you would push down on the accelerator, and there's like two pieces, and the top piece would slide up and lock underneath like a sheet of metal or plastic, and just cause you to continuously accelerate because it got locked in that position. So that's
you should
really bad.
You should hold together incredibly important pieces of a vehicle with glue.
Just glue. No, not a single screw in sight.
And then their recommendation was to take a fucking screw or a rivet and just bolt the fucking back of the pedal to the metal on the floor.
Yeah. So they did reach out. Apparently there has been a patch for this glitch in Fortnite. So that should be not happening anymore. But I don't know how much it costs to have a Cybertruck in Fortnite, but I think it's too much money. Can we all agree that the Cybertruck is the ugliest vehicle I've ever seen in my life?
I still like it.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I've always liked it.
I get some people compare it to like the DeLorean, but I don't know, man. The DeLorean had a lot more style.
I like the fact that it looks fucking unreal. Like it looks like something that shouldn't exist, or like
You
one
are
of those
right.
concept cars that
Yeah.
like never actually get off of the runway because they're just supposed to be there to be cool looking, or at least be novel at some big like car show. But nope, it's a real thing that you can buy that at this rate will probably kill you or someone else.
Yep. And I get it. I get that idea that like, oh, it looks different. Because I mean the car I want, the vehicle I want, is an Aptera, and it looks goofy. I will admit it, but I still want it. What are your thoughts, Cyberpunk Monk? Would you buy a Cybertruck?
With what fucking money?
If you had
Also,
the money.
I live in a condo complex that does not have any sort of like EV charging outlet available. So no, of course not. Also, it's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry, Roa.
I understand.
No, I get it. Like I knew from whenever it was first revealed, and everyone was like, "What the fuck? It's like a low LOD model somehow got put into real life." And I'm like, "Yeah, that is what it looks like, isn't it?"
Yeah. And I think I saw one in real life the other day. Apparently,
Wow.
Well, so my friend in Redmond, Oregon, works at a hotel, and the restaurant that's next to it, apparently the owner of the restaurant owns one. And so I was driving home from work, and he's like, I think you passed that guy. Like, because I told him I saw the Cybertruck in real life, and it looks fucking stupid. The windshield, like the windows look weird on the, like in real life. Like they're too far sunk in. Anyway.
But like keep in mind, my previous car was the Nissan Cube.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, real talk, a buddy of mine has a Cube, and like he loads up his drum equipment in there all the time. That thing holds so much. It's like a little truck.
Is that the one the kids broke?
Yeah.
God. Have you seen those kids? Did those kids move or get put in juvie or something yet?
I actually, now that you say that, I'm pretty sure at least one of them has been taken away
Nice.
Probably for the
because
best.
he has disappeared.
I thought about somebody I knew in middle school and high school, and I was like, I wonder how they're doing. And this was literally last night, and looked them up, and the first post I see on their Facebook account is, "Screw the CPS. I don't need people telling me how to raise my kids." And I was like, yeah, that sounds about
Yep.
right.
hmm
We're gonna move on to our last story here. This one's brought up by Nicole, but she's not here today. But we all know about it. There is a video game strike. Our video game performers are launching a strike over compensation and AI, which is basically saying, hey, the one that was linked is it's an interview done by NPR, but the gist of it is, I believe the video game
Well,
performers are
it's not just video game
SAG-AFTRA.
performers either. It's SAG-AFTRA, which
And
it's just voiceover artists.
yeah, they are launching a strike saying, hey, we need protections against our voices being used in projects if we're not there actually voicing them, or we don't give you permission to use an AI replica. Like James Earl Jones sold his voice to Disney to say, hey, you can do AI with my voice, that's fine. And he probably got paid millions of dollars to do that.
Oh yeah, because he was like already at death's door by then, right?
He's still
Like,
alive.
oh, I thought he died.
Pretty sure James Earl Jones is still alive. James Earl Jones age. He is 93 years old,
Okay.
and he is still alive.
I
there
wonder
you go.
if he is allowed to do VOA work anymore. If Disney's just like, nope, we own the rights to your voice.
I think he can.
I
think he can. That's probably still part of it. Is he can probably
I
still do his own.
believe, if I remember right, it was specifically in the context of Darth Vader.
He's got
So he
type
could still
2
be Simba. Good.
Yeah,
Or
he's
whoever the dad is in Lion King.
well, I mean, that's still owned by Disney.
I don't fucking know, man.
Dis-
I'm literally struggling to think of anything else James Earl Jones has done other
Yeah,
than
I have
Disney
no
things.
fucking idea. I forgot he was in Lion King.
Yep.
Like,
He was Mufasa.
Mufasa,
Yeah.
that's his name.
Yeah, he has type 2 diabetes apparently. He made
I'm
it to
not
93.
surprised to hear that.
I mean, he's 93. Like, motherfucker is lucky that he even has fucking hormones left, let alone insulin.
Yeah, I'm happy he's still alive. But yes, so they're doing this lawsuit. Hopefully things will go well. I can understand, like, hey, like in the contracts, which I'm sure they're negotiating, say, if you use my voice, I have to be compensated for it. In the contracts, and so that's probably going to be in all of the contracts moving forward for voice actors, which is really good. I like it when people strike and get better deals for themselves and screw over the giant corporation just a little bit. And it's not fun to see like people put a lot of work into something and then just be kind of screwed out of it.
Well, and it's particularly bad with this because if there is one AI tech, and I use AI in a general sense, but if there is one that like could seriously affect people's lives, it is voice synthesis. Because particularly for like commercial reads and shit like that, because like it's not quite up to snuff for like narrative and like character acting, but definitely like for commercial reads, I could see this sort of tech just kind of destroying an entire industry
Yeah.
by having that.
Well,
So
and like in
it's good that this is a thing.
recently, I forget what it was, but somebody stole Scarlett Johansson's voice.
Oh
Or
yeah,
or not necessarily.
somebody.
Yeah, I forget who it was. Or
It was literally OpenAI.
oh, okay. And
Yeah, I thought you were joking at first.
I didn't remember. I knew it was AI. I didn't know what they had used for it, but like you go into OpenAI and it's just like, oh, that's Scarlett Johansson. And I guess there was another actress who had actually supplied their voice for that AI. But that person just happened to sound super close to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, because they were probably trying to, do the Spike Jones movie thing. It's like,
Yeah.
haha,
And
funny. It's like the robot lady in the movie.
and they have to do this because like if a studio doesn't have these, levied against them, basically these protections for the voice actors, then the studios will take advantage of not having that. And
Oh yeah,
one thing that I can think of is Back to the Future 2. Fucking 30 something years ago. I don't want to think about how many years ago. Back to the Future 2 was released, and Crispin Glover was not in that movie because he didn't want to. There were some contract negotiation disputes, but they wanted the character George McFly to be in that movie. And so, they brought the character back, and they had the person kind of emulate his voice and mannerisms. But apparently what they had done that was illegal was on the first movie, they made a mold of his face for the old man portion of George McFly. And they had used that mold to create a mask for the new actor so that he would look like Crispin Glover.
oh yeah, I know that's not cool.
Yeah,
And
so you're using your likeness at that point. You have rights to that. Or
Yeah.
You own your own likeness.
right, exactly. And so Crispin Glover went and sued. He got I think it's estimated that he got about $750,000 from that lawsuit as a settlement.
And it's like $500 million nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And so you got about that $750,000 is what they estimate that he got out of it. And what they did after that is that the union, SAG-AFTRA, at the time, then started putting in their contracts that you couldn't use the likeness like that anymore. And so they strengthened protections because of that. And so this is exactly what's happening now, is they're coming up and they're like, hey, we need to strengthen protections for AI. This could be very, very damaging if, somebody's voice is being used and we're not getting compensated for it. So hopefully, it looks like they're already reaching agreements. I looked up a different article. It looks like Audrey Cooling, a spokesperson for the video game producers, contends that the contract does address the union's concerns. Say, we have already found common ground on 24 out of 25 of the proposals, including wage increases and additional safety provisions. They also say that the contract extends meaningful AI protections that include requiring consent and fair compensation to all performers working, and they are among the strongest in the entertainment industry, yada, yada, yada. Of course, that's a spokesperson for the companies, but yeah, apparently they are getting closer to reaching a deal, which is good. Because, yeah, one day we're going to do an AI podcast. Someday.
Do you mean that someone's going to use our voices to make a show where it's just an AI talking to itself?
No, yeah, we are going to do that someday.
I could do that.
It's going to be like an April Fool's podcast. We will have an hour-long podcast that will just be Oroa, Cyberpunk Monk, and Reeton talking to each other as AI.
That's right. Aroa?
It'll be fun. I know Will Sasso has an AI podcast.
That's kind of fun.
Where
I will say I've been fucking around with Suno lately. We're a little off topic here. The
that's
AI
fine.
that
Oh, the
makes
song
music.
one?
It's
Yeah.
pretty goddamn fun. I wish I had more than 5 a day.
Yeah, that's where that fucking how the hell you spell chauffeur where that meme came from.
so
well, look at fancy ass McGee over here. Fuck you.
I actually had a reason I brought that up. Like when AI SpongeBob was a thing, sometimes it just couldn't do it. To what Aroa was saying earlier, like it doesn't have the finesse of being a character actor just yet.
No.
Yeah.
Suno, what I've seen, it hasn't like borked up anything bad like that yet. So we're making progress in the right direction. I just don't think we're there yet, homie.
So, what was I? I was thinking of Seinfeld. What happened to the Seinfeld AI show? Is it dead?
They got
Yeah,
a cease and desist and
okay.
had to replace all the Seinfeld characters with made up characters that were legally distinct from Seinfeld characters, and then everyone stopped watching them.
Oh, I see.
There's one other event which I think he might have been bringing up, which
Well, I know
is
the
where-
trans joke. We spoke about that in a previous podcast.
Yes, because unfortunately at the time ChatGPT was down for maintenance, so they went to a backup one that was not as rigorously trained not to say certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what those
They had a
internet
little
kids
they had a
are
little
like.
Kramer stand-up moment.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, his career kind of died, but he's alive and kicking. Apparently he survived cancer, so good for him.
Well, he's not a racist. That's what's so insane about this.
I'm not saying anything. We're not commenting on that. That happened over 20 years ago. So,
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah, good times. Anyway, let's hope that the contract negotiations go well for the voice actors, and we're gonna call it a day here on this podcast. I would like to thank you for being here, Aroa, and thank you for being here, Cyberpunk Monk.
If the negotiations don't go well, I've been told I sound like a discount Sam Elliott, everyone. And
Awesome.
I'm available for hire.
That would be good. We will be back in like 3 weeks. I guess I'll be back on the 25th of August. And I don't know if anybody else is going to be here doing other things. We'll see. Maybe we'll have AI Connor and Aroa next week. Anyway, goodbye.